Okay. Good day, everybody. Thank you for joining us on yet another edition of the AIAN podcast. Today's session, we're talking about the truth about ESG in Africa, and we have a phenomenal guest with us in the studio today. We have Folakemi Adekunle. So I'm just going to read out her bio for us so we get to have a sense of who she is, and then we'll delve into the entire conversation today. Folakemi is a sustainability professional with a strong focus on translating environmental responsibility from concept into practical, operational, and actional systems. She has a background in environmental biology. Her work is rooted in bridging the gap between sustainability, theory, real life implementation. She works at Wecyclers. She has worked closely with corporate organizations to design and integrate structured recycling system into their operation, aligning sustainability goal with SDG priorities while ensuring measurable execution. Folakemi's expertise lies in building and managing partnerships that connects organizations, community, and systems to drive effective sustainability outcomes. She has also led and supported initiatives in environmental awareness, circular economy development, community-based sustainability programs. She's passionate about making sustainability work in everyday operations, not just in reports, but in systems, in decision making, and long term organization strategy. Folakemi continues to explore opportunities within ESG sustainability roles where environmental responsibility is embedded into how organization functions and grow. Folakemi, thank you so much for joining us today. Okay.
Me, Osarugwe. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So we're going to delve into the heart of the gist today. So for anyone that's sort of listening to us right now and they don't even know what ESG is or what sustainability is, from your own perspective as a practitioner and an expert, what is sustainability and ESG?
Yes, I can hear you now. I think we're having a bit of network lag, but I can hear you clearly now.
All right, fine. So
Okay.
my first question to you right now is for someone listening to us today that is their first time of hearing about ESG or even sustainability, what would you say to them to give them an understanding of what it is?
All right. Thank you so much. So for newbies in the industry, thank you. Let me start by saying that I caught colds in the course of the week, and my voice is not really clear, and I might be sniffing or coughing in the course of our discussion. Please just pardon me. Thank you so much. So I'm going to start by saying that sustainability and ESG, even though very interwoven and it's more like one leg of the other. But I found out from experience that a lot of people often confuse both for each other. While sustainability is the ability for us to be able to exist and enjoy natural resources without impeding or affecting other generations from also enjoying the same, right? ESG is how we run business. It is how businesses are being run in this generation. So we think of ESG as a lens, E being the environment, S being the social, and G being the governance. It just means that you know it's not just about ESG as a concept or ESG as a buzzword, because so many people think that that's the in thing now. It's a buzzword. It's just something that you put on your report to show that you're also doing something significant. While it is something significant, it is beyond the just the vibe. It is beyond just the hashtag. It is beyond just the word. Do you get my point? ESG is expected to be ingrained and integrated into how businesses work in this century. It should have been, from way back, But yes, a lot of organizations have adopted it from way back, but then it is now being enforced, and it is expected that more organizations begin to integrate ESG into their processes. So ESG is the environmental part of our work, the social part, and the governance. And on the environmental side, we see it as, oh, how does our work affect climate? How does it affect things like flooding, like plastic pollution, like a whole lot of other things, environmental risk basically. And then on the social side, we look at how do you treat your staff, how do you treat your value chain, your stakeholders, how do you bring them into your work? Do they even know what your work entails? And then on the governance side, we are talking about senior management, board of directors, people that make decisions for the organization. How are they carried along? What decisions are they making? How does that decision affect the environment? How does it affect the social aspect? So ESG is not just a word, it's not just a buzzword, it is not just something that is trending, it is something that should be ingrained into how businesses work. It's not just a conversation. And even when we look at it from, okay, how businesses run, we shouldn't it's not we're not supposed to see it from, oh, it's compliance, it is what we need to do to just to be in the good books of, say, World Bank, or compliant for different organizations or industries. It is more than that. It is how we are able to survive as a race, as a people, a generation, how we are able to survive, how the workplace is able to survive, how individuals and communities are able to survive. So for anyone who is hearing about ESG and sustainability for the first time, this is going to be my word to them. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for putting it into simplest term possible. Talking about it's just about understanding how the environment is, and also the social part, as well as governance, ensuring that businesses are run in a much more sustainable way. Thank you so much for that. And sorry for the cold that you have. So guys, just bear with her. Like she mentioned earlier, that she had like a cold within the week. And this just to show that how committed she is, despite not feeling so great, she still, showed up here as well. So a lot of commendation has to go into that for her as well. So thank you
Thank you so
for,
much.
for yeah.
Yeah, thank you
So
so
my
much. Yeah.
next question to you is, um from your experience, working with various organizations over the course of your career thus far, why do so many sustainability or ESG initiative sort of fails in moving beyond just reports into real execution?
Thank you so much for that question, Osari Grace. So this is a very it's a question that is very, it's very somehow in the real sense. But really, one of the reasons why I think that, or from experience, I've seen that, sustainability and ESG practices do not really go beyond reporting, is because organizations focus on just reporting. Organizations see it as compliance. Let's just be compliant. Let's just be compliant. And somehow, maybe sometimes they do a bit of CSR here and there, and then we pick up that CSR report, and then we just add it to whatever it is that we want to. We, of course, by then would have gotten a sustainability manager or a team of people, a sustainability team for the organization, and our end goal is just to create report at the end of the year. If we make it report based, we would always just focus on, just getting the report done at the end of the year, which reporting is very beautiful. It shows what we have done. But then before reporting, we have to be able to have done something. Reporting should not be the first step to take whenever we want to, when we think of sustainability. We should first think of the impact, and that the first step should be, okay, let's look at our materiality. Let's look at what is important to us, what topics are important to us in this organization. Of course, it's going to be different from organizations to organizations, because different organizations do different things, produce different things for those in production and manufacturing, and different industries. But after assessing materiality, we should now go into the work of having to integrate these ESG practices into every sector, every department. Because ideally, to be truthful to ourselves, there are a lot of things that we do in ESG already within the organization, but because we didn't brand them ESG, or we didn't say, or we didn't, because we were not ESG focused initially, and we're just in our work. And but now that everybody is talking about ESG, people are compliant, organizations are saying, you know what, you need to start reporting, we need to start seeing what you're doing. So now we want to now just go straight into writing reports, and then just producing report and publishing reports. But those kind of things would end up, at the end of the day, falling short, because that's not the focus. The focus should be integrating these practices in each department, each sector of the work, because really that is what it should be. Look at how you can affect the environmental aspect of your work. Look at how you can affect the social. Look at how we can affect the governance. Look at the across board of your operations. How can we integrate these practices? When we've done that, in fact, you may not have to report immediately, maybe that year, because you're not even doing the work yet. You've just started doing the work. And after a year or two, when you know that, oh, we are balanced, then reporting can come. That's when you're actually reporting what you have done. But if the focus is just, oh, we just need to start doing reports, we just need to start doing reports, there's going to be a lot of assumptions, a lot of gaps, which would, in the real sense, at the end of the day, would not really make so much difference that we want. Do you get? So for me, I think that that's one of the reasons why ESG practices or ESG initiatives don't move beyond the initial stage. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that and just highlighting that. Wow. Okay, so the other question that I would definitely want to ask at this time is, what do you think organizations sort of misunderstand about sustainability when they try to implement? Because you also talked about that, oh, some people just do reporting for compliance sake, and they're not so really keen about implementations. But from your own perspective, what do you think organizations misunderstand about sustainability when they try to then go the implementation route?
So, like I said earlier, the first question, the second question, and this one are quite interwoven. So,
Okay.
because if something is misunderstood, we will not be able to achieve the goal at the end of the day, right?
Mm,
So I
yes.
think that one of the things that organizations misunderstand is seeing ESG as a project. So if we just see it as a project, something that is going to further take more money from us. I've had to through my work as a partnership and business administrative business development rather business development associate at Wecyclers. I've had to had conversations and meetings with some C-suite executive of other organizations, and you always get this vibe or this feeling like, oh, you guys are just, you just want us to spend unnecessary money. If it's not compliance, we won't be doing this. If it is not because people are on our neck, you would feel the energy, like people are, they're just feeling like they're just here to milk them dry. But if organizations always see ESG or sustainability initiatives from a place of project, it would not really, it's a misconception, because it's supposed to be a strategy. It's not supposed to be something that will just tick off our bucket list to say, oh, for this year we've done this and that's it. So, like I mentioned earlier, people see it as CSR, another CSR, excuse me, another CSR activity, which in the real sense should not be. It is a strategy that should be ingrained into the workflow, into the system already, the system that we have. Let's see how we are already what we're already doing that that tallies with ESG practices. Let's see what we can then, if we discover that, we can now bring in practices that, to strengthen what we are doing already. So it's not a project, it should be a strategy that is integrated into the system. So when organizations see it as a project, of course they'll see some people will see from a point of view that, they're going to have to spend more. But in the real sense, there's a business case for ESG, because ESG is supposed to help you to invest in to attract investors who would, invest heavily excuse me, heavily in your business. ESG is supposed to give you a good brand reputation, such that your customers, your stakeholders, they trust you, they trust your process. But if we are always seeing it from a place of project, it's just another project, it's just another project, it's just another form of CSR, it's just a way of giving back to the community. It's a misconception that I've seen organizations, fall into. And, these are one of the issues that ESG is facing, especially in Nigeria, which is the context in which we're having this conversation. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for highlighting much more on that. So from what you're saying, it's more that organizations have to interwove ESG into as part of their strategy. They should
Mm-hmm.
also consider it as also a way to, not necessarily as much as it's a way of giving back, but also to show that they value the people that they're serving, and it's also a long term positioning for their brand to say, oh, we care about the environment, we care about our
Mm-hmm.
people, we care about compliance, right? And so that's, if they take it from that standpoint, it becomes easy to sort of continually move with it, as against just like a project, a one-off thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my next question now is, uh, interestingly, you currently work with recyclers, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you've worked in on integrating recycling systems in recyclers, particularly. What does the real day-to-day sustainability implementation looks like for you guys?
Okay, so for us at Wecyclers, of course, our work is already, and Wecyclers is one of the best places to work at, by the way. So at us that, because you're not just working, you're impacting. Your work is very impactful. Whichever department you are doing something really phenomenal, significant. So for us, because that's the core of our work,
Mm,
sustainability, we are an environmental sustainability focused organization. We do recycling. So we have different departments. We have the operations. I do not work in the operations. I work, like I work in the partnerships and business development unit. So we have people who work in operations, people who work in logistics, people who work in, different departments, M&E and so on. So for us, every day we go to work, we know that what we are doing is to ensure that the environment is sustainable. So from picking up from the our minivans going to pick up recyclables in households, within communities, within close communities, because we try as much as possible not to go long distances. So, as much as possible, we try to cut down on our carbon emissions, because we know that carbon is the culprit here. So, we from picking up, and then we have people within the organization. We have women within the organization in our operations, or who sort these materials. And by sorting, I mean decapping, delabeling, and preparing for baling. We have balers who bale these materials and make them ready for shipment. We have the logistic team who also go out to pick from our partners. So we have a dedicated truck who goes out to all our corporate organizations, corporate partners, corporate clients to pick up their recyclables. So apart from the fact that we are doing the work recycling and just picking up and getting these materials, We also help organizations within our partner organizations to also meet their own target, because organizations have different targets for the year, for 5 years, for and it's in different industries. It varies from industry to industry. For some, their goal and focus would be, or want to be able to map out or mop out a particular ton of plastic within this particular year. I think it was in 2024, yes, that we helped Unilever was able to hit plastic neutrality, meaning that they were able to mop out the plastics that the amount of plastic that they put out through their production. They were able to mop out that, and Wecyclers was one of the major recyclers that worked on that project. We have a very strong partnership with Unilever, and we are, worked on that project with them. And it was a very happy moment for us, for everybody, as much as it was for Unilever. It was for us as well to say, oh, we're really a significant part of this project, and we helped them to be able to achieve plastic neutrality at the time. And yeah, the work is still going on, and we do the same for other organizations as well. So day to day, our activity, our work life is very focused, and then my role as a partnership and business development associate sees me having to have this kind of conversations with partners, almost on a daily basis, have meetings and try to convince them about, what they can do, how recycling can be a major part of their work in terms of recycling their own materials that they use in their offices, and also supporting our initiative, because what we do is an incentive based model. So we also have to we always need partners who can invest in our incentive based model, so we're able to give more incentives to people in local and rural communities that we work in. So yes, daily, that's pretty much what the operation is like.
Wow, that's great, and it's just good to hear that you guys have like solid partnerships and people that you sort of work with to ensure that they're able to meet their sustainability goal as an organization. And so you sort of emphasized on partnerships in your work. So from experience, what would you say is the role that partnership plays in making sustainability successful, and what actually makes that partnership in question sort of work from both parties?
Okay, so for I'm going to start by saying that for every project or every initiative or anything at all in the world, nobody can do everything alone. And even the SDG goals, there I think it is SDG 17 that is partnership for the goals, meaning that with all these SDG goals, the all 16 of them, we need the 17th one to be able to achieve them. So for every project, every initiative, anything at all that we have to do, partnership is very, very important, because no matter how organized or structured an organization is, or even rich an organization is, I mean, we still see companies like Dangote having to sell shares to people to buy their shares. So, and it's just the way life is built. Nobody can do something as a standalone. Would need people who are partners who also share in your vision to be able to work with you. And then this industry, the sustainability industry as it is right now, still it is heavily incentive based, because people want to know that for whatever they are doing, something has to be in it for them initially, apart from compliance, apart from just having being in people's good books. People want to know that, is there a business case for me in this thing? What's the business case? What do I stand to gain? And because we work in recyclers, we work in a lot of low income communities. That's like our major focus. We are really in low income communities, and what we help them to do is to capture value from their waste. And how do we do this? We have partners who are heavily invested in what we do, who support us from time to time. And through their support, we are able to also support those people who are mostly women, by the way, women and youth. We are able to support them to be able to continue doing the things that they do, which basically is just supplying us plastics, break collecting plastics from their neighborhood, personal from personal use, and then giving them to us. So it's a very long chain. Like I've explained now, that we have partners who support our cause. In a way, we're also supporting some other people, and then the chain goes on like that, like that. And then not only are we just partnering with our subscribers, we also have organizations who need the materials that we collect. Take for example, I think it was in 2024 that Tetra Pak reached out to us to say, oh, we want to start recycling Tetra Pak. And Tetra Pak, for those that do not know, is the pack for juice pack, Hollandia yogurt, that pack for Chivita product and other beverage. So they reached out to us to say, oh, we want to collect these materials. They need to recycle because they want to take out the materials that they are producing based off EPR policies. But they are not going to just go into the street, and they don't have that capacity to just go to the street and meet people and say, oh, buy for, let's give us this thing, let's pay you this amount, or we'll do this and that. They reached out to us, which that is our core. That's we know these people, we've been working with them for over the years, and they reached out to us to collect. And we did the we sat together, had different meetings, did implementation plan, and then we rolled it out. We did, awareness and sensitization in different places in Lagos, and we started collecting. Now, yeah, it was a good run because we had, in fact, sometimes I'm like, oh, do we really drink this much Hollandia and things in Lagos? Because the focus was usually on plastic, although it wasn't as much as plastics material. But I mean, it just blew my mind that we would be able to collect that much at the time, and we did. And we collected from them for them, and then they found an off taker, and then you can see that chain. So partnership is very important in the industry. Nobody can do it all. Nobody can do it alone. So we would need each other to, as far as our visions and our goals align, we would always need each other to be able to deliver. Do you get my point now?
Yes, yes, yes. Valid. Thank you so much for sharing. And you just mentioning that, oh, collecting that and like, oh, do people consume this much? Yes, we do consume that much.
Yes, that it's
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So
your
also, based off of your experience, like where do you see the biggest opportunity for sort of building a scalable recycled economy, particularly in Nigeria? Because you just said something that we jokingly laughed about a couple of minutes ago.
Mhm.
So where do you see the biggest opportunity for building scalable recycling economy system, particularly in Nigeria today?
All right. So in Nigeria and in Africa today, I think that the biggest opportunity for building scalable circular economy systems is within the manufacturing, is the intersection between waste and manufacturing. Even though it seems like, oh, there's a lot of recycling companies these days, best believe that there's still a lot of untapped waste that we have not started collecting. Manufacturing waste, waste from companies, waste from manufacturers that we have not yet tapped into. A lot of them, a lot. So I think that, and it ranges from even construction, organics, metals, and even plastic itself. Because as much as we are clamoring and it looks like, oh, there's a lot of noise around plastic collection and all of that, we are still not all organizations have been able to declare plastic neutrality, meaning that not everyone have been able to say, oh, I produced take for example 10,000 metric tons of plastic this year, and I was able to collect 10,000 tons of plastic metric tons of plastic. If we've not gotten to that point, honestly, we still have a long way to go, because it means that a lot, let's say a company produces maybe like 10,000 metric tons and they're able to collect just 3,000 metric tons. So where this the other 7,000, where are they? Where are they? So it means that they are lying somewhere, just somewhere where nobody can trace them. So I
True.
think that there's still a lot of opportunities for growth within that sector. Metals is also a very, I mean, is a very big opportunity. Not We don't have so much of metal waste, organic waste. I know that recently some people in Lagos, they converted from a fruit market, they converted the waste into biodigester, and I'm like, oh, this is really good, because I know I'm privileged to know some of the people that were on that project, and I know for how long they've been on this project. I'm talking 4 years, 5 years that they've been on actively on this project, and to see it come alive, it was really phenomenal. And then to and I'm thinking, if we can have this, and that's just one market in Lagos, and I'm sure that they did not even use all the waste that was produced in that market, because in a way, because there's no structured system for waste collection. From what I know, I don't know if there's a structured system of collection now, but from what I know, there's no structured system of collection. So it means that somehow there's still going to be some leakages of waste, flying around, flying out of that
True.
they were not able to capture. Now
Yeah.
imagine that we're able to capture that. Imagine that in other major markets in Lagos, we are able to have something like that. We would not have to rely so much on synthetic what's it called, synthetic
Fertilizers.
fertilizers, yes, synthetic fertilizers, and somehow, would be, would have healthy food, would have healthy fruit, and
Yeah.
that's the whole concept of circular economy. Because if that goes round, it means that we are not just looking at cutting down or reusing our waste. We're also going to be catering to healthy food. We're also going to
Yeah.
be catering to less waste. We also,
True.
it's a lot within that place. So I think that there's a lot that can still be done within the waste management sector. There's a lot that there are lots of opportunities within that space.
Mm.
And then I
Wow.
also think that another untapped opportunity is, especially, I don't know how it works in other states, but for Lagos, I see waste pickers, informal waste pickers a lot. And it would really be nice if, I know that there are a lot of talks about formalizing waste pickers. I feel like if these people can be formalized, material recovery would really be more effective. Material
Mm.
recovery will be more effective if they can be integrated into the formal system, giving better tools, trainings, and stuff. It will really make material recovery more effective, and data would be. I'm very particular about data. We want to have solid data within the industry that that we can use, and that is verified, and we know that wherever we're presenting this data, we know that this is sure,
Mm.
verified data. So I think
Mm.
that those two, they are areas where we have numerous opportunities that are yet untapped.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. I like how you put it. It's particularly the waste management part. Interestingly, um, from just taking out waste, especially like if you do the biodigester into like three different factions, you're able to get like the bio fertilizers you mentioned. You're able to get biogas, right? That's another element as well. And you're also able to get like animal feed. So the biogas, you could use it for your cooking gas, and if more refined, it can be used for vehicles as fuels in cars, like CNG kind of thing. Also, the biofertilizer that you talked about can be used for like regenerative agriculture, just help our soil. help with soil fertility, soil nutrients, and things like that. And more importantly, animal feeds in most cases for agricultural production. So there's just a lot there. And having to just also highlight the fact that data is also a very relevant thing to look at. Wow. So even within the secular space as well, there's still a so it would you think of it as more like a traceability thing as well for um within the circular economy to be able to say, oh, this particular waste is from this region, it's from this, it's from this. We're able to also sort of trace it as well with that. Wow, fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot when it comes to data. There are lots of issues that we have within this space. But I
Mm,
think that traceability is also one of the major issues
mm,
because people are doing a lot of things by themselves independently without
mm,
necessarily belonging to any organizations where they have to, where they collect data. And it makes, we are seeing the work, we are seeing people collect materials, we are seeing people do this and that, but it is not reflecting in our data because I've been in conversations or in settings where we are talking about data and we are still talking about data of 4 years ago. The numbers are the same. Are we seeing that we've not really done so much in the last 4 years? But really, the there's no fund. I mean, the research funding are not so much within the industry, and then people we cannot trace data. It is not not coming together. There are a lot of different people doing different stuffs in different places, and it just makes the whole thing look very cumbersome. If we had a central data center where everybody gets to fill in that. But yes, even though we have organizations like that, like Fibra, who collect data within the what's it called, the plastic recycling space. There are other organizations that are not registered with Fibra that do not. I
mm.
mean, I'm talking about the informal waste pickers now that knows nothing about such organization,
Motions, this
and
thing,
their own
yeah.
focus is just to collect, sell off, and then just get their money. Do you understand? So if these people can be integrated, it would help the work a whole lot. It would help a whole lot.
So from what you've said now, having to have like a central sort of database or data point that would
Mm,
help with effective, decision making or policies and things like that. Do you think that that would be something that it's in the hands of the government to sort of implement, or it's in the hands of stakeholders, or it's like a joint, you know, uh, joint activity to ensure that that
mm.
happens within the sector?
So yeah, I wouldn't say it is completely in the hands of the government
Okay.
because well, I don't want to sound very pessimistic, but really we know the terrain that we work in. So
Yeah.
we cannot leave that to the government because I mean there
Things might
should
not get
be.
done at the pace it should get done.
Yes, at the pace it should get done. And then we may just see that, maybe the government release money or funds for what's it called, for research purposes, and then we know the story. So and then at the end of the day the research does not get done. So if we leave it at that, we are going to be stuck. We are going to be where we are without really making any significant any significant progress rather.
Yeah.
So I think that stakeholders can also come in, um, funders, green funders. There are lots of green funding, on the international space that people can, tap into and then just, do what has to be done. So I think that it is a collaborative. It's not just for one person because even if stakeholders come in to say, "Oh, we want to do this," we still have to get some kind of um, permits from the government, some kind of no thumbs up from the government. So it's going to be a collaborative effort on both sides.
Wow. Yeah, I usually say this, to my guests on the podcast, that anything that has to do with, like, let's wait for the government. Personally,
Mm,
I'm not really keen about such things. I just think that, what the government can definitely provide in some cases is enabling environment. But however,
mm,
if you really want to see
definitely.
things move at a very drastic pace,
Mm,
individuals, private organizations, NGOs sort of have to do their own bit, and then,
mm-hmm,
we all meet the government halfway, and the
mm,
government meets us
yeah.
halfway. But if we
Mm-hmm,
expect them to, sort of initiate certain processes, it might take a longer time and a lot of things might not get done. But like we said, I think this is also like an opportunity within the secular space that people could definitely look into. Like I see
mm,
people all the time, even within, you know, typically like food systems, people think that, it's just like, only production, that is within food system. So this whole process we've been talking about is still within the food system thinking in itself, but it's like an opportunity that people can also delve into to make a mark, to create, opportunities for others as well. Well, thank you so much for sort of highlighting that. And this will definitely be our final questions for you today. Um,
okay.
so for organizations and individuals that are with us on the call today, or that would also watch the replay, what are the first steps they can take to move from just sustainability conversations to systems that actually work?
Mm. Okay, thank you for that final question. So, I think that what organizations and individuals can do to move from just conversations to systems that work is to first of all know where you are. What are you doing currently? Where
Hmm.
are you at the moment? I know that
Yeah,
where our stages are different. Where you are
yeah,
might be different from where another organization is or another individual. You may already be doing one part of the work and maybe not just everything, or you might have started the process and someone has not even does not even know about does not even have any education about
yeah.
what we are talking about. So it's important to know where you are and it will help you to be able to move forward um, what next to do. So when you have discovered where you have been able to understand where you are, you have established it. Okay, this is we are at this point in the whole sustainability or ESG journey. Then you have to now pick, like I mentioned initially, what is material to you
Mm,
what is material simply means what is priority? What's the most priority? What are the priority topics for you in terms of ESG, in terms of sustainability? What are the things that are priority to you? When you have been able to, that would also be help you to be more effective and efficient. So if you're
mm,
able to identify what is the most priority to you, it helps you to be able to focus on that instead of having to do everything at the same time. Let's take for example SDG goals. Some organizations, let's take for example, say a manufacturing industry that produces say maybe one of their waste is sewage, one of their waste is or sludge, wastewater,
yeah,
one of their waste is and also they use heavy duty machineries that produce fuel,
yeah,
that way
yeah.
carbon exhaustion, you know they would want to look at, okay, how can we protect the environment? What are the
Mm-hmm,
things that we can do to protect the environment? So they are first of all looking at, say, climate action. And then maybe after they are looking at how can we make the community we live in more livable for people. Then
yeah.
they would start going into conversations about sustainable communities and I think sustainable communities and livelihood. I'm trying to remember that SDG. I think it's SDG 7. So like that, so they're able to focus on these two things instead of having to deal with no hunger, zero, no poverty, zero hunger, education. Do you get my point now? I'm just
Environment
saying
as
that.
well.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
just saying. organizations can look inwards, mirror down all the issues that you have to the ones that are most priority, that are of most priority to you, and then focus on those ones, and then just do everything you can to ensure that you're able to do protect and do everything that that entails. Then thirdly, like we said, partners. Partners, look out for people who can help your work, partners who can make your work more efficient and effective. So take for example the manufacturing company that I mentioned now. If they want to go in terms of in the way of climate action and sustainable cities, there are organizations that is their core. That's what they do. Like take for example, Wecyclers. You can come to us and say, "Oh, we want to make sure that we look at we want to probably mop out the plastic that we are producing." you know that's what we do. Would help you to map out, would draw a framework that can actually work, and then would implement as well. We would not just leave it at, oh, we have created a framework for you. We'd also implement and ensure that the work is actually done. Do you get my point? So you find
Yeah.
out, look out for partners, find partners who are also going to help your work, who are already working in that space, and their credibility. You've seen them do it over the years, or even if you've not
Mm-hmm.
seen them do it, if you're coming across them for the first time, you can make some research about them, see that it's something that they're already doing, and then you can partner with them to do it. Nobody can It is not easy to start from the scratch in terms of things like that, because you already have that's not your focus. This is
Yeah.
just a branch of your work that you need to do. And for individuals as well, make your behavior um more visible. Do the work, really. Do the
Yeah.
work, sort your waste. I was at a training yesterday, and I was telling janitors of organizations, oh, sort your waste. And it looks like, oh yeah, within the company we'll do that, but when I get home, I don't really have the time to do all of these things. I have children, I have this. And I'm like, see, this thing is not just it's not just a means to an end. It's not because, oh, well, it is work, we have to do it. It's something that should be ingrained into your system as a human, that okay, I need to be responsible for the waste I generate first. Then I
Yeah.
need to also be responsible for how my waste is being disposed. Am I
Mm-hmm.
co-joining my waste? I can't. It doesn't take anything to separate your waste from source, honestly. You can have a separate bag for recyclable materials, and then your normal bag for non-recyclable material. So from
Yeah.
source, it makes it really easy. So I think that these steps would really help both individuals and corporate organizations as they start off their journey. Thank
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for
you.
sharing your insights, your expertise with us today on the podcast. For anyone that is listening and people that will also sort of watch the replay, that want to sort of connect with your organization based off of what you've talked about, and knowing fully well that you work along the lines with on partnerships. How can they connect with you, or how can they connect with the organization? You could definitely maybe mention your social handles or
Mm.
emails that could definitely connect with you. So how can they connect with you guys?
All right, so you can connect with us on all the major social media platforms. On
Okay.
LinkedIn, we are Wecyclers Corporation.
Okay.
On Instagram, we are Wecyclers, just Wecyclers. So
Okay.
on Twitter, we are Wecyclers as well. I'm not sure on Twitter because I hardly use Twitter, but anyway. So, but you can just check Wecyclers. You see our logo. We are not we cannot be mistaken for any other company. Yeah, so you can check with
Fantastic.
us.
Fantastic.
And if you want to send us an email, you can send to founders@wecyclers.com.
Okay.
And you can
Beautiful.
also check
Beautiful.
our website,
Okay.
recyclers.org. Yeah, dot com
Okay.
rather.
Recyclers.org.
Dot
And
com.
guys, well,
Recyclers.com.
if you want to connect with her personally, has her name appears on the screen. That's how it is on LinkedIn. You could definitely reach out to
Yeah.
her personally. But she's already mentioned the company's social handles, Recycler Corporation on LinkedIn, Wecyclers on Instagram and on Twitter as well. So guys, do connect with her for such purposes. Thank you so much today for being with us here,
Thank you for
Folakemi.
having me.
It's been such a
Thank you so
delight
much for
having
having
you in the
me.
studio. Such a
Thank you so
delight.
much.
And
Thank you so
great,
much.
great work you guys are doing for the
Thank
environment,
you. Mm,
for sustainability of business, for the environment, for people as well, and even governance and compliance. So thank you so much personally to you and also to the organization, Wecyclers, that you guys are doing,
mm,
helping organizations, particularly manufacturers as well, mop up their waste back
mm.
out of society to just ensure that we don't have too much litter within the society. So thank you. You guys are doing like really great, tremendous work that deserves commendations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for, seeing us